Let me be honest with you. How many times did you raise your voice at your child this past week? Once, 3 times? More? A Child Development Institute surveyed 1,200 parents, and 73% admitted they yell at their kids at least 3 times a week. And of those parents, 92% said the same thing. Every time I do it, I hate myself afterward. So why do we keep doing it even when we know better? Here's something you need to hear. A team of psychologists at an American university tracked children for 4 years. What they found was striking. Kids who were regularly yelled at were more than twice as likely to experience anxiety and depression as teenagers. This isn't about raising a sensitive child. It's about reshaping a child's mind. But here's the flip side. Children raised without yelling show something remarkable. When their emotions spiral, they don't fall apart. When conflict hits, they reach for words, not volume. Are these kids just born different? No, they learned it. From their parents? Today we're going to look at what the research actually shows how children raised without yelling grow up differently, and 3 things you can start doing right now. This moment matters more than you know. It's 7 in the morning. A mother knocks on her son's bedroom door. For the 3rd time, wake up. You're going to be late. The boy pulls the covers over his head. 5 minutes pass. 10, nothing. Then she snaps. Seriously, how many times do I have to say it? He jumps out of bed, and she thinks to herself, see? I have to yell. That's the only thing that works. Sound familiar? Most parents have lived this scene. But here's what's happening inside your child's brain in that moment. According to the Harvard Center on the Developing Child, a parent's raised voice immediately triggers the amygdala, the brain's threat detector. Your child's brain fires a single alarm: danger. Get out. So yes, he gets up, but not because he understood, because he was afraid. That difference is everything. Fear-based compliance doesn't build self-motivation. It builds dependence on escalating threats. The louder you yell, the louder you'll need to yell next time. That's the cycle, and it feeds itself. But it works. He listens. A lot of parents say this, and in the short term, they're right. But there's a trap buried in that logic. When a child responds to yelling, it's not understanding driving that behavior. It's fear. Psychologists call this fear-based compliance, and while it changes behavior in the moment, it quietly dismantles something deeper. It doesn't develop judgment. It develops hypervigilance. Instead of learning why rules matter, children learn to read the room always watching for signs of danger. Researchers at University College London found that children frequently exposed to yelling were 32% less capable of understanding the reasoning behind rules compared to their peers. They never had the chance to ask why. They were too busy bracing for impact. And here's what hits hardest. When these same children become teenagers, when conflict arises with their parents, what do? They yell back, because that's what they were taught. Their body knows it as the language of conflict. The parent who yells to get compliance ends up raising a child who yells to get their way. There was a 3rd grader named Min-Jun. Bright kid. Strong student. But when he got a problem wrong, he'd erase so hard the paper tore. His teacher called his parents in, concerned. His father sighed. I used to get on him hard when he made mistakes at home. Really hard. Min-Jun had learned that no mistake was acceptable. Psychologists call this a perfectionist self-concept, and it shows up in one of 2 ways. Either the child's standards become impossibly high, or they give up entirely. Neither is healthy. The American Psychological Association has published findings showing that verbal aggression yelling causes the same level of damage to a child's self-esteem as physical punishment. Not hitting, just yelling. Let that sit for a moment. The first thing a parent does in anger is the thing that tells a child who they are. Children who are yelled at repeatedly come to see themselves as the problem, as someone inherently out of control, fundamentally difficult. And that story doesn't go away when they grow up. Here's what I believe is the most important thing we'll cover today. The loudest mark yelling leaves isn't in a child's ears. It lives in their head. Psychologists tell us that the words and the tone of voice a child hears repeatedly before age 10 become their inner voice. You know that voice inside your head when you mess up? Why can't you do anything right? Here we go again. Where do you think that came from? For most of us, it came from childhood. It's the internalized critic, the echo of voices we heard over and over in moments when we fell short. That inner critic is why, as adults, we freeze before big moments. Why a small mistake sends us into a spiral. Why starting something new feels like standing at the edge of a cliff. But children raised without yelling? Their inner voice sounds different. It's okay. Try again. You can do this. Take your time. That voice goes with them everywhere, through every failure, every setback, every hard thing life throws at them. A parent's voice doesn't disappear. It lives inside a child forever. What you say today, the tone you choose, that's the voice they'll carry for the rest of their lives. So what do children raised without yelling actually look like? The research is consistent. First, they can name their emotions. Not just I'm mad, but I'm not angry, I'm actually disappointed. The ability to put language to feeling shapes the quality of every relationship they'll ever have. Second, they handle failure differently. Children who grow up with yelling tend to either shut down or explode when things go wrong. Children from calmer homes are more likely to see failure as a reason to try. Again, not proof of something broken inside them. Third, they resolve conflict differently. That same British study found children raised in calm environments were 1.8 times better at resolving peer conflict, more likely to reach for words before raising their voice. None of this is genetic. None of it is luck. It's built one morning, one evening at a time by how a parent chooses to respond. Every calm moment is a brick, and one day, all those bricks become the foundation your child stands on when life gets hard. Okay, enough about why. Let's talk about how, yelling isn't good. The problem isn't knowledge, it's the moment when everything inside you boils over, and there's nothing left. 3 things you can use today. First, the 3-second pause. The moment anger rises before a single word leaves your mouth, close your lips and count to 3. Here's why it works. There's a 2 to 3 second gap between your brain's emotional response and its rational response. That window is real. Use it. 3 seconds of silence gives your brain time to shift from threat mode to problem-solving mode. For your child, that pause is a completely different experience. Second, low voice. Firm choice. Old approach. How many times do I have to tell you? New approach. I need this done now. You choose right now or 5 minutes from now. Same firmness, half the volume, and something unexpected, a choice. Children move faster when given agency than when given fear. They act from autonomy, not survival. It sounds counterintuitive, but it works, and it works quickly. Third, come back after the storm. Old approach, yell, move on. New approach. Once things settle, sit down and say this. When I got upset earlier, that wasn't because you're bad. I was frustrated. That was about me. 1 sentence. That's all it takes to start healing what the yelling cracked. The ability to repair a relationship that matters, just as much as staying calm in the first place. You don't have to do all 3 today. Pick one. That's it. One time. That's where it starts. Before you go, I want to ask you something. Do you remember a moment when your parents yelled at you as a child? Can you still feel it somewhere, faint but there? That's the proof of everything we've talked about today. The voice doesn't disappear. It stays. But here's what I don't want you to walk away thinking. This isn't about being a bad parent. The fact that you feel regret after yelling, that's not a flaw. That's love. Only someone who deeply cares would carry that weight. And where there's love, change is always possible. There's no such thing as a perfect parent. A parent who doesn't yell isn't someone without emotions. It's someone who has emotions and keeps choosing again and again to work with them instead of through them. Try it once today. Just once. That one moment is a brick. Tomorrow, one more. The day after, another. And brick by brick, you're building something that will hold your child up long after you're not there to catch them. The fact that you watched this video today, that already means something. Your child is a little better off because of it. Start a little quieter today. You can do this.